Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Welcome back to an episode of the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you both mentally and physically become the best version of you. Today, I've got my Thursday thoughts, and this comes from something I saw on Instagram from Taylor Lautner. You may remember his name, you may not have, but I'm sure you will have seen him. So if you remember the Twilight series that came out ages ago that kind of made Robert Pattinson famous, this was the guy that played the wolf. So if you remember, he was in fantastic shape and became a bit of a heartthrob, and it became that whole Robert Pattinson versus Taylor, like who was fitter, who was hotter, blah, 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 blah. And I saw a video of him on Instagram today, and I'm going to insert it right here, right now.
You need to get to a place where you realize that your body and how your body looks doesn't say anything about you as a person, because there's a flip side too, and that's your body can look unbelievable. You can be ripped, shredded, whatever. You can lose weight. You can put on muscle. And if you're not healthy mentally, then that's all for nothing, because that can work against you.
Yeah.
Like there's two totally different sides to it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the thing I needed to learn, because for so long I told myself, if I get my body back to where I want it to be, then I'm going to be happy again. Value does not come in what you look like when you look at yourself in the mirror. And a lot of people think that. I thought it.
Yeah.
I literally was like, when I get my body back to where I want, all of a sudden something's going to click and I'm going to be super happy.
And as you can see from this, he really seems to have evolved and grown, but he mentioned some key things I want to pick up and want to talk about today, because when I saw this, I wanted to do a story on it, but then I an Instagram story, but then I realized that I didn't have enough time to do it, as in like I wouldn't be able to get out what I needed, so I thought, no, we're going to save it for this. So a few things that Taylor talks about there that I think are key is, he mentions that if I get my body back to where I used to be, then I'll be happy again. Keyword here again, I'll be happy again. So he's insinuating that he'll be happy. He's not been happy. He's kicking his happiness into the future, but he'll be happy again, meaning he's not going to be happy or hasn't been happy since he had his body looking that way, which is a really interesting thing there. The word again, I'll be happy again. So this entire time since then, and again, his body, his whole identity been made around his body, he's not been happy, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. And the second part it says here is, value doesn't come from what you look like in the mirror. How many of us think that our self-worth as a human being comes from the reflection we see in the mirror? And it couldn't be any further from the truth. And it's all well and good, people like Taylor talking about it. And again, I'm going to use my example in a second. But where people have been there and we've lived that, we've lived this quote-unquote lifestyle where we look a certain way and then people assume that you are a certain way. And the only real thing that can be assumed about that is that you're obsessive. That's about it. But when it comes to your value as a human, I myself, for those of you that are maybe new to the podcast, haven't heard my story much, I used to be a model, and I worked with 3 agencies. So I was a contracted model, professional model. Again, got paid to do it. I've been on GMTV doing some stuff. I've been in shop things, like on boxes of stuff, front cover magazines. So I was at that level. But at that time in my life, if you looked at the value, so the keyword here is that Taylor says that the value doesn't come from what you look like. The value of me as a human being was almost non-existent. I added nothing to any conversation. All I really wanted to talk about, or really the only thing I could talk about, was my modeling, the gym. That was it. I had no other substance to me. I had no real value to add to people. Yes, I could help people with the fitness and my business was going all right, but that was it. I had no other value to add to people. And if you looked at me then and looked at my life, I fundamentally hated myself. I hated absolutely every fiber of my being. I hated myself so much that I was driven to basically just eradicate my pain by looking a certain way in the mirror. And it never, ever, ever got rid of that pain. It actually led me to depression. So it didn't lead me looking a certain way, me pushing that didn't lead to the depression. But at that time in my life was when I was most depressed. So you'd see me on the front cover of magazines. You'd see me on the boat in Santorini living my best life. But actually I was depressed and miserable and didn't want to be alive. That was the reality of the situation. But you'd have seen this perfect body, and there'd been guys that would have looked at me and aspired to look like that. There'd been clients of mine maybe that wanted to look and aspire like that. But I was absolutely miserable. I was just seeking validation from every single person I could. And I just wanted people to like me, especially women. All I've talked about is the modelling. And again, on dates, where I'd be like, oh, model. I had nothing. I had absolutely no substance as a human being. Now, I believe that you should want to better yourself. I fully believe that. But there's a difference in how we go about it. And this is what I teach my clients, what I talk to my clients about. And this is where it's fundamentally different. Because right now I'm going through my own journey again. I remember the Rubik's Cube analogy that I used on the podcast when we talk about priorities in your life and finding balance. And I mentioned that at certain times in your life, you're basically going to have different priorities. And my priority over the last 12 months was my mental health, and it was also my business. My personal fitness goals kind of took a back seat. So I'm now looking at myself in the mirror and I'm thinking, okay, I need to hold myself to a higher standard. So basically now I'm doing something about it. Now the key thing here is I don't hate myself, and I don't think that my value as a human being has been lowered by what I see. I just know for myself, when it comes to my health, how I feel, my clothes fitting, that actually I've let myself go a little bit and I don't like that, so I'm going to do something about it. And that's the difference. I think you should want to better yourself, but for the right reasons, and that is for personal standards. Because there's nothing wrong with wanting to get fitter and healthier. Again, healthier. We're not going to the extremes here of getting six-pack shredded. That's not what I'm doing now. I'm not going to the extremes of being super stage lean when I was doing fitness competitions. That's not what we're going to. I just want to be a bit healthier, and that's what everyone should aspire to be in some way, shape, or form, whatever that means for you. I'm all for this body positivity, and I think that you should be body positive. I think no matter what your body looks like right now, whether it's always been a certain way, which again to social norms has been quote unquote acceptable, or if you've had an amazing quote unquote amazing body and you kind of, for whatever reason, life circumstances, it's not quite the same. I don't care where you are on that spectrum. I believe that you should love your body because your body's been through some amazing things. Your body potentially has given birth to a child. Potentially it's gone through some trauma. It's basically kept you alive this long. And here's what I want to talk about. This is the key thing with this, is that we think that when we get this body, we're going to be happy. But what we need to do is be happy and content with where we are right now. We need to love ourselves, but love ourselves so much that we want better for ourselves. When it comes to the analogy I use with this is, imagine if you're at work and your boss says to you, you have to do and complete a project with that person over there that you absolutely hate. You are going to be forced every single day to put so much energy and effort into doing this. You're going to resent that project. You're going to resent that person even more. It's going to be hard work. And that is every single person that tries to get in shape. They hate themselves so much they're trying to force themselves to actually be a better person that they like. When I get abs, when I get this bum, when I do this, then I'll be happy. Then I'll like myself. But until then, I hate myself. And it's force. I don't want to do this. I don't enjoy doing this, but it's what I need to do. I need to punish myself. I need to get this body, and then I'll be happy. And that's what every single person does, and then they wonder why they fail. Because they're coming at it from a place of complete hatred of themselves and their body. Right now, I'm coming at this from a place of, I love myself. I am so happy and content. I'm in complete control of my reality, me, my life, to the best extent of my ability. When I have bad days, I can bring myself back around very, very quickly. I'm in a very, very good place. My clothes don't quite fit how I like them to. And I know that I can get myself and hold myself and maintain myself to a higher standard. I'm going to go and do something about it. I've been doing it for 4 weeks, and it's been so easy, so smooth, and absolutely effortless because I actually want to do it. This is the difference. I want to do it. Because here's the thing. You are going to be with yourself regardless of how your body looks. So if you don't like yourself and you're out of shape and overweight, you're still going to hate yourself whether you're lean or not. Because when you're lean, you'll then find something else that you hate. Maybe your elbows are too bony, or your eyes are the wrong colour, or your eyelashes. You will find something to hate. You have to come from a place of love and acceptance of yourself and all of your flaws. Your journey is what makes you unique. Do it from a place of complete love. Mindset first, and then the body follows. I hope you've taken some value from today's episode. If you think that someone else could benefit from the words that I've said today, please don't forget to like and share with a friend. You guys are absolutely awesome. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.